All right, welcome in everyone. We are off and running on the women's basketball rundown. Back in our regular Tuesday slot after a week's coverage of the Power Four conference tournaments. I am Kadarius Washington, and it is a pleasure to have you in. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Unrivaled from yesterday as they concluded their regular season. And the Vinyl clinched the last playoff spot in the field yesterday by virtue of the Mist losing to the Lunar Owls. And the final unrivaled standings before the playoffs, Lunar Owls at 13-1. Rose at 8-6, Laces at 7-7, Vinyl again with the last playoff spot at 5-9, and then Mist and Phantom both out of the playoffs with the records of 5-9 and 4-10 respectively. Over the weekend, both the Lunar Owls and the Laces went 2-0 in their games, and then Rose and Phantom split their games at 1-1, and then Vinyl and Mist held off of the win column at 0-2. All right, outstanding players for this week. It was a little difficult for me to find some players to go into my outstanding player list, but I got five of them for you here, so we're gonna go ahead and get you going there. Number five, I have Kayla McBride. Over the weekend, she averaged 46% from the field with 21 points and 3 rebounds and had a 5 assist game on Friday. And then number four, I got Chelsea Gray. After back-to-back weeks of being number one on my outstanding players list, she had a little bit of a rough go on Friday, held to only 29% from the field, and saw her 5 game, 26-point streak end with 10 points there. But she bounced back on Monday. She made 8 threes, 33 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists there. So she's number four on my list. Number three, I got to say, Shakira Austin. I tweeted this out last night on my Twitter at CW Talk Sports, that CWTALKS Sports, that seeing Shakira Austin and her development has been so incredible to watch, and she's been getting better by the game. And in this slate of unrivaled games over the weekend, she's averaged 65% from the field with 16 points and 8 rebounds. So that's a good job by her there. And number two, I have Ryan Howard on my list. On Saturday, she made 9 3-pointers in the game, had 37 points and 12 rebounds there. So that's a good job for her. And number one on my list, I have Napheesa Collier over the weekend, shooting 65% from the field with 23 points and 8 rebounds. So Collier, Ryan Howard, Shakira Austin, Chelsea Gray, and Kayla McBride round out my outstanding players for this last weekend of the unrivaled regular season. And our playoffs are set. And if you look at this field, it's really a tale of four teams. You've got the Lunar Owls, who have been wire to wire the best team and unrivaled, led by their who in all likeliness is going to win the MVP in Napheesa Collier. They've been a juggernaut, folks, and they are heavy favorites to win this unrivaled championship. And then you have the Rose, who are by far the hottest team in Unrivaled, led by Chelsea Gray, another MVP candidate, and Angel Reese, with their game coming on strong in these later weeks of the Unrivaled season. And then you have the Laces, who I thought was going to be the biggest threat, but they hit a little bit of a skid midway through the season, but they bounced back, and now here we are in the postseason for them. And then you have the Vinyl, who, if we're being honest, are just happy to be there. I mean, 5-9, and they're the only team in the playoff field with a minus point differential. And so I think this is a Vinyl team that's really just happy to be there. Now, look, De'Erica Hampy and Ryan Howard has had some really good games for them. I really thought Arike Ogunbowale from the Vinyl was going to be in the mix for us talking about some of the best players in Unrivaled, but that really has not been the case much this season. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and preview these matchups here for you. So We've got the Vinyl at the 4 seed taking on the Lunar Owls, number one. And throughout the season, the Lunar Owls won all three of their meetings with the Vinyl. Their first meeting, Owls took it 67 to 57. Nafisa Collier had 17 and 19 in the game, and Alicia Gray had 19 points for the Owls. And then for the Vinyl, Aaliyah Boston, one of her best games of the Unrivaled season, 14 points and 9 rebounds. Jordan Canada with 14 points, and Enrique Agumbawale with a double-double there, 12 points and 10 rebounds. In their second meeting, it was 85-68 Lunar Owls. Nafisa Collier went nuts in the game, 36 points and 12 rebounds, and Alicia Gray complemented that with 20 points on her own, and Ryan Howard for the Vinyl had 21 points, with De'Erica Hamby having 14 and 10 in the game. And then their third meeting, it was 78-72. Lunar Owls and Sky Diggins Smith for them had 27 points, and Alicia Gray with 17. And De'Erica Hamby, one of her 30-point masterpieces this season, 31 points and 11 rebounds, and Ryan Howard with 18. So my players to watch in this game, for the Lunar Owls, I'm going to go with Sky Diggins Smith. Over the meetings with the Vinyl, she had 54% from the field with 19 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Shakira Austin, who I said has been getting better as the season going along, she has actually shot 50% from the field or better in 6 of her last 7 games and averaged 16 and 8 over the last weekend. And as for the Vinyl, my players to watch there is De'Erica Hamby, who, mind you, did not play in the first game against the Lunar Owls, but in her 2 games shot 70% from the field with 22 points and 10 rebounds. And Ryan Howard with 15 points and 6 and shooting 51% from the field in game 3. And I believe the Lunar Owls will win the game by 6. All right, so our second matchup is going to be Laces and Rose. The Laces won the first meeting 69-65. Kayla McBride with 31 and 9 on the game. Tiffany Hayes with 24 and 11. And then for the Rose, you had Brittany Sykes with 16 points and 6 rebounds, and Angel Reese with 14 points and 7 rebounds, shooting 2 for 4 from the field in that, and 5 for 6 from the free throw line. So there we go there. And then in the second meeting, the Rose won that one 83-69. Chelsea Gray with 62 points. Excuse me, 62% from the field, 28 points there. Azare Stevens with 23 points and 61% from the field, and Kalia Copper with 57% and 21 points in that one. And Kayla McBride for the Laces with 20 points and 6 rebounds. And I think Jackie Young had 16 points in that game. So there we go there. And then in the third and final meeting between these teams, the Rose won that one 58-53. Chelsea Gray with 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists with that one. Angel Reese, 50% from the field, 16 points and 17 rebounds. And Kayla McBride with 20 points and 5 in the game. And Alyssa Thomas, the only time that she's played in the game, with 12 points, 16 rebounds, and 8 assists. You might remember that was the game where she was 2 assists shy of the triple-double. So my players to watch in that one, I'm going to go with Jackie Young for the Jackie Young and Alyssa Thomas for the Laces. Young scored 16 or more points in all but 2 of the games that she's played in this year, as she's missed several due to injury, as well as Thomas, who has averaged a double-double for the season despite having a rough weekend, and as I mentioned, was the 2 assists shy from the double-double. And then I'm going to say Azare Stevens for the Rose with 23 and 8 average for them. And then Brittany Sykes, who's been coming along strong this past weekend, and especially her working with Lisa Leslie, I believe, on the well, no, it wasn't Leslie. I forgot who she worked with, but it was somebody shoot, I can't think of her name. Teresa Witherspoon, I believe, worked with her on the finishing at the rim, and she did a good job there. My prediction, I say the Rose win that game by 3, setting up Rose and Lunar Owls fittingly for the championship. And I have Lunar Owls taking it all, and they win that game by 5. And that is your recap and predictions as far as the Unrivaled playoffs and championship are concerned. And in the NCAA women's side, we have 2 more automatic bids from yesterday. We had UConn taking the Big East over Creighton. No surprise there, 70-50. And Paige Beckers had 24 points in that one. And then Arkansas State with a huge upset win over James Madison to take the Sun Belt title. And that brings our total of automatic bids up to 11. And in a few short moments, we're going to have another automatic bid to be decided between Oregon State and Portland as far as the West Coast Conference is concerned. And a little note here, too. According to Charlie Cream from Bracketology, this was a story that I covered a little bit on yesterday. By way of JMU and Texas San Antonio, UTSA, losing their games, he currently has Norfolk State moving up to a 13th seed should they win the MEAC, facing Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss is another dangerous team in this field, but it's not Duke. So we're definitely, well, I am anyway, rooting for Norfolk State to win the MEAC and be the 13th seed and go on a little bit of a run here as far as the NCAA tournament is concerned on the women's side. All right, I want to get into a little bit of an interesting storyline in the WNBA. So as we know, the Players Association opted out of their current CBA, and if there's no new CBA by October 31st, then it's going to result in a full-blown work stoppage for the league. And Angel Reese and Dejanay Carrington, they've had some interesting comments on this matter here. Of course, Carrington being a team representative, and Angel Reese being outspoken of the fact that if they don't look out for her financially, as far as this new CBA is concerned, or looking out for their terms, excuse me, that they're gonna she's going to not take the court, which is a reasonable response, especially when the popularity for the game has never been higher. And of course, wanting new salaries, which has been an issue forever. So I don't really see a problem there with Angel Reese as far as her comments are concerned. And Asia Wilson had a little bit of a say on the matter when she was asked about the new CBA. And she said, quote, "I feel like we can make things work. It's going to take a lot, but I don't even want to say that or think that. We shouldn't even have to get to that point," end quote. And Wilson's right. It really shouldn't have to go to that point, but at the same time, we know how a lot of these negotiations go. And the last thing the WNBA needs right now is a lockout. So we're definitely going to have to monitor that situation. Now, the season tips off on May 16th. So hopefully by the end of the season, we'll see some progress. I don't really think now they're going to get a deal done before the deadline, but we'll have to wait and see everything that unfolds as far as negotiations for a new CBA is concerned. All right, one more storyline I want to get into. The New York Liberty has added to the trend of playing preseason games at their stars' alma maters as they announced that they will be playing a preseason game at Oregon. And as you know, that is Sabrina Ionescu's alma mater there, joining the Indiana Fever, who will be playing at Iowa for Caitlin Clark. The Chicago Sky taking on Brazil at LSU for Angel Reese, and of course Brazil for Camila Cardoso. And then you've got the Aces taking on the Wings at Notre Dame for Jackie Young of the Aces, as well as Arike Ogunbowale for the Dallas Wings. Well, friends, that is going to do it for the women's basketball rundown. The show will be back next week to break down the bracketology, to break down the bracket as well as the unrivaled playoffs and championship game. And then the women's basketball rundown will be taking a break until the women's Final Four. But in positive news, the sports rundown officially returns tomorrow. We're going to be breaking down the NFL free agency as that has gone underway, and the NCAA tournament on the men's side. We've got some championship games, conference championship games going on there. So we'll break that down as we get one step closer to this NCAA tournament. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter or X at CW Talk Sports. That's CWTALKS Sports. And also follow me on Bluesky. That's also CWTALKS Sports. And I will see y'all the next time. Peace.